Peace and welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Folks, we got a great show for you. All right, let's talk about the video that is sending shockwaves around the world. The video of the Uvalde tragedy, 77 minutes of watching tragedy. Folks, we'll break it down for you about what this actually means. And most importantly, I want to get your comments on this video. We'll be playing excerpts of this very, very tragic video. But we want to get your comments as we talk about this issue. Also, at the top of the hour, we're going to have a conversation about healthcare access and disparities for those who are paralyzed or who have limited mobility. We check in with the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation to give us some insight about what healthcare can really look like for all in this country. And then later, let's have a conversation. Elon Musk says no to Twitter. Are you surprised? I mean, seriously, folks, are you really surprised? We'll have that discussion as well. So stay with us. That's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Folks, welcome to the show here on the Black Star Network, The Culture. I'm your host, Faraji Muhammad. Thank you so much for checking in and riding with us this afternoon. Folks, we got a huge discussion to have around this issue of what we just saw in Uvalde. Now, this tragedy has happened over a month ago, and the country is still reeling from what happened. Not only are we talking about the killing of 21 people, 19 children, and 2 staff members. But we're also talking about the delayed reaction and response from law enforcement. It seems like that storyline has dominated the narrative around this tragedy more than any other storyline. And so The Austin Statesman newspaper, a local newspaper in Texas, has decided to release some edited video footage of what really happened at the in Uvalde at the school, and more importantly, what happened when police entered the building. 77 minutes of waiting and tragedy, folks. Now, as we're having this conversation, we would love to hear what you have to say. So make sure you post your comments on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube page, and make sure you join us in that discussion. But I want to play now. This is an edited video, folks. Even though it's edited for sound, even though there is, you won't see any bloodshed or anything of that matter, but it's still a very shocking video. Very, very shocking. But I want to play for you just a little bit of what happened in Uvalde on that fateful day. Check this out. Now, folks, as you're looking at this video from the Austin American-Statesman newspaper, they edited it, as I mentioned. Now, take a look. That was hard to watch. If we haven't said it before, we'll say it now, and I'll continue to say it. My heart, my prayers go out to the families of those babies. Folks, there's so many things that we can talk about as it relates to the situation. And I wanted to spend some good amount of time on this because this is a national tragedy and it's worthy of some discussion. Let's talk about the whole protection of our children in schools. We could talk about guns. Let's talk about the law enforcement, the police response. Let's talk about it all. I want to hear what you have to say. I really want to hear what you have to say. And I think that we should also discuss the fact that there's a growing number of people around this country who are saying they should see the images that they're pushing for. And I know we had a brief conversation about this on this show, but people are pushing, oh, we need to see the pictures. We need to see the pictures. Do you want to see the pictures of that massacre that we just witnessed on video? Would you want to see the pictures of that? Hearing the gunshots. And this was edited for children screaming. Hearing the gunshots struck with me. I don't need to see pictures when I'm hearing the gunshots. All right, let's go and take a look at this. I'm going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we'll get to your comments. Stay with us. It's the culture right here on the Black Star Network.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood-Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Folks, welcome back to the show. So we just shared with you just about a couple of minute clip of the video footage from the Uvalde tragedy that happened on May 24th earlier this year. And in that clip, you saw the gunman walking across the parking lot of the school, going into the school, while the hallways were clear because you can hear a teacher prior to him making his entrance, calling the police, calling 911. and warning everyone to get into their classrooms. Once he got into the building, he looked around for a brief moment, walked down the hallway, chose a classroom, and to begin the killing. It wasn't until a few moments later that we saw police coming in and them looking, trying to figure out what to do, how to handle the situation. That led to 77 minutes, folks, of them strategizing right outside the doorways of this classroom as the 18-year-old killer proceeded to kill 19 children and 2 adults. 77 minutes of waiting, 77 minutes of strategizing, 77 minutes of a tragedy. I wanted to go to your thoughts on this situation, this video, get your take on it. So post your comments on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page, and let me hear what you got to say. Let me hear what you have to say. All right, let's go to the comments right now. Brother King Lee, we'll start with you. King, you know I always appreciate your insight, brother, so I'm glad to hear from you today on this. This is very tragic. Every one of those cowards need to be held accountable for their cowardice. Every single one, King. I'm not a law enforcement agent, King. And tell me this, brother. Do you strategize while you're on scene when a situation is actually happening? Do you hold up? Because let me tell you the first thought that I have, and folks, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong on this. You know, we watch a lot of these action movies. You know, you could talk about Bruce Willis, The Rock, or whatever the case may be, Jason Statham. And it's like, you don't wait for there to be a break in the gunfire, in the sense of, in a situation like this, it's like, if he's held up in the classroom, and you know he's held up in the classroom, you go in there with your tactical gear, you go in there ready to handle business. So I personally did not understand that if you needed to wait it out. I just don't get that part. I don't get that part, King. You wait it out. He's in a classroom. Upon entering the school and entering the classroom, it took him a matter of minutes to do the type of destruction that he caused. And then you hear the gunfire, and then you start to retreat. What are you retreating for? You got an army of men right outside the door. I've seen like shows, like one of my favorite shows is SWAT. And one of the things that I often see is that SWAT, they get up at the door and they give you a count. They do a knock. And then guess what? 3 seconds in, boom, they busting through that bad boy. I don't get it. King, I good appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Much, and I agree with you. Great tragedy. Shalinda, let's see what you got to say. Shalinda, it's always good to hear from you, sis. Shalinda checked in and said they should all be stripped of their uniform. What can be said about that response? Man sanitizing his hands. While you lean up against the wall? What the hell are you sanitizing your hands for? Nisa, 1971. Nisa, good to hear from you too, sister. Nisa, you say, hey, fam, I'm so angry and upset watching this. I want to cuss all of them out. They fired. You're damn right. I'm feeling the same way. I'm feeling the exact same way, Nisa. And I cannot wrap my mind around what was going through what was the thinking? What was the strategy? Wait till he come out the room to walk to another classroom? Was that the strategy? What was the strategy? Now, if you had that many men on the outside, on the inside, I wonder how many men were on the outside. Nisa, good to hear from you. Let's keep it going, folks. Keep posting your comments. I want to hear from you. Mike V. Mike, good to hear from you too, sir. Hey, Mike, you said I would create a database of all officers involved in malpractice and add them to the list. Yeah. Yeah. Mike, thank you for your comments, sir. Rashida, good to hear from you. Always a pleasure. Rashida checked in and said, guess listening to the gunfire and seeing them standing around is effed up. Damn right it is. Effed all the way up. All the way up. All the way up, Rashida. Yep. Again, do we need to see the photos of dead children? I mean, come on, folks, let's keep it real. Are we that desensitized that we need to see the photos of dead children? Or should we just know that each one of those rounds that came out of that AR-15 went through somebody's baby? All the way effed up. Rashida, I appreciate you. Janelle, longtime watcher and listener and loyal supporter. Janelle, good to hear from you. You said, look, as far as those with shields are down the hall, how many freaking chiefs were in that hallway, but not one with heart enough to stop it? Man got a tactical shield down the hall. Again, I might be wrong, and maybe Hollywood got it wrong. You don't just bust up. You got a tactical shit. This dude had no real tactical equipment against the police, right? He didn't have no tactical equipment. He didn't have a shield. He didn't come in with a face mask. I think he had a little vest on, but he had a gun. He had a gun. You open the door, light his ass up. Light him up. With no questions. There ain't no freeze. No, sir, ain't no freeze. Soon as you open the door, say hello to my little friend. You know what I mean? Janelle, I appreciate you. I appreciate you a lot. Let's keep them coming. Let's go to Donita. Donita Jackson. Donita, another loyal watcher. Longtime supporter. Donita, you checked in. You said, what the hell did we just see? That is so sad. Those poor children and teachers, totally in tears. No need to see those babies. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. No. This video should tell you about the dangers of having semi-automatic weapons in that wrong hands. This, for me, this is the evidence against that case, against that argument. So I don't need to see it. I don't want to see it. Did you hear how fast that gun went off, man? Seriously. I mean, just think about this. Did you hear how fast that thing went off? Tearing through flesh. Why do I want to see that? If that is what it takes to make someone to have a change of heart about any issue, let alone gun issue, then something is wrong with you. Something is seriously wrong with you. Just the fact, hey, Donita, check this out. Just the fact of him walking across the parking lot. Let me tell y'all something. This is why this video resonates so strongly with me. Just the fact that he walked across the parking lot and went into the school knowing what was going to happen. Knowing what was going to happen was hard enough for me to watch. Just knowing. But you still got to see the images of dead babies? Danita, I appreciate you, sister. Thank you. Let's go to Bradley. Bradley, thank you. Good to hear from you, Bradley. I know you a couple of times you posted your comments, and I'm glad that you did. Bradley said they all should be fired, point blank. That's it. That's it. I'm back to the man sanitizing his hands, Bradley. What the f are you sanitizing your hands for? You ain't putting in no work. You ain't getting up no fingernails dirty. What you sanitizing your hands for? You leaning up on the wall. Lazy ass. Appreciate you, Bradley. Forensic accountant, good to hear from you. Forensic, let's hear what you got to say. You said despite public perception, a law enforcement officer has one job, getting back home. Anyone who operates in any other mode is an anomaly. Okay, let's talk about that. One man, at least 20 police officers. Everybody got tactical gear, bulletproof vests, some with helmets and shields. The likelihood, and I hear what you're saying, Forensic. I do hear what you're saying, but this ain't that's not. You can't apply that principle in this case. You know why? The likelihood of somebody not returning home is very slim. I mean, really, the police had everything in their favor. Whether you're talking about the actual physical layout of the school, they had walls and corners to duck around. You're talking about the fact that they did have gear on that the gunman, Ramos, didn't have on. You're talking about training, how they are trained to handle certain situations such as this. Right? So you got all of these advantages. This ain't about getting home. What about the babies? What about everybody else? No, the objective in this situation, and I hear the ultimate objective is to get home. I get that. I understand it. But the objective into this situation is try to limit as many casualties as possible. Bust up in that joint. I read an account where it said that the police, once they decided to move in, they came through the windows and shot that man up. Why didn't you do that sooner? So you got all those police inside. I'm sure they had a number of police on the outside, and everybody's worried about coming home. Like this dude is a trained assassin. He's an 18-year-old kid with a gun. And you're training, your gear, the physical advantage of the space, all of these things, please. No, that's the wrong objective in this case. The objective is to save those babies. How many of those babies can I save? That should be the ultimate objective. And that's police work. That's SWAT work. That's tactical work. So I hear you, but guess what? I disagree. You shouldn't be worried about getting home if you got your brothers in law enforcement right there with you. You shouldn't be worried about getting home because you got one man who's killing babies. No, the strategy is to exterminate or eliminate the threat first. Save some lives, then get your ass home. And I mean, look, tell me if I'm wrong. Let's talk about that. Giselle, amen. You said, I've never seen such a worthless group of men in my life. To hear those babies crying and yelling, but you don't even rescue them. I couldn't imagine. Giselle, I could not imagine, sis. Could not imagine. Could not imagine. Could not imagine. Y'all, look, I'm telling you, this is me having a conversation with y'all right now. I could not imagine. If I'm a police officer, I got training gear, all these advantages, I'm busting up in that joint. Like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. So you hear these babies? Just the woman, one of the I guess she was a staff member, calling for the get in the room, get in the room. That's fuel for the fire of going in there and to save somebody's life, man. Sometimes you just gotta. That's what you do as a police officer. That's what you do as a law enforcement official. You put yourself in harm's way to save those who can't save themselves. I mean, that's the duty. Nobody forced you to do that. That's the duty that you decided to accept. That's the duty. Nobody thinks you got to be Superman, but in those moments, man, I could not imagine hearing babies crying out like that or hearing people screaming or just hearing that gunfire. I can't just sit there, man, and just wait. And I mean, look. You know, sometimes you just got to do things first and ask questions later. If an officer decided to move in on a situation, say, man, F that, I'm going in, and he loses his job, but he saves 10 or 12 babies because he was like, no, I'm not waiting no more, or we're going to take the shot now. So be it. Is this about a job or is this about saving lives? All right, let's go to Real Brooklyn. Real Brooklyn, you said, man, watching that video with those so-called cops has proven to me that there are people out there who like to look tough, but when shit hits the fan, they choke. In Real Brooklyn, let's keep it real, bro. That could be any one of us, right? Like, if you have never been in a situation, and I'm saying that we're civilians, so this is not something that we're accustomed to each and every day. But there have been moments, and I'm sure many of you have experienced moments in your personal life. You've seen a situation or you've been personally involved in a situation where you thought that there was like life and death, you know, it's life-threatening situations. But there's something that kicks in. There is an innate thinking that kicks in that when your life is being harmed, you either do one or two things. You either fight or you flight, right? Or you take flight. But there's something that kicks in. That's what distinguishes those with courage and bravery from those who don't have the courage and bravery. But the first law is self-preservation, right? But then even more so than that, check this out. If you have children involved in tragedy, that's like an extension. It's hard to turn your back on a child who is suffering. It's hard to turn your back on a child that is screaming for help. I mean, these were like 10 and 9-year-olds, people. Like, let's keep it real. They can't help themselves. They don't know what to do. A man walks into a classroom and starts to open fire. They don't know what to do. All that other stuff, let's not look at this as if this is a logical thing. All that other stuff is like, if this was our babies, you know, your son, your daughter, your niece, your nephew, grandchildren. I mean, come on, man. You would have ran right up in that joint. At least without fear, just to show that I don't care What you got in your hand? Let's go to DeAndre. Real Brooklyn, appreciate you, man. Thank you. DeAndre, I think hopefully I'm saying that right. Said they pulled out and dumped 60 rounds at someone running away, but when someone matches that same energy, they cower. That's what cowards do. Yeah, they cower. I don't get it. I don't get the why. Why? McCole, let's go to McCole. McCole checked in and said, I saw the video yesterday, shaking my head. This is McCole Spicer. McCole's always been checking in. And McCole said, those kids were being murdered and nothing was done to stop it. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. That's why the chief of police resigned. You know why? Because in reality, folks, when you stop making certain decisions that will save people's lives, you need to step down from that post. You need to step down from that post. Let me see who else we got. That's McCole. Inexcusable. All right, let's go to T. Foster. T, I appreciate you for checking in. T said, you should not be in law enforcement if getting home is your major goal every day. That's like somebody is playing football and is worried about getting hurt. I mean, I understand it. It's a natural desire. I want to get home, but some situations you can't think about yourself. Some situations you just can't think about yourself. Some you just can't think about yourself. Laura Dorsey. Thank you, T, for checking in. Laura, let me share what you have to say. Laura, you said it's a disgrace before God and all the saints. All of them should be fired. No pensions, nothing. Now, nobody should get rewarded for that. Nobody should get rewarded for that. There's no reward for lack of courage. There's no reward for standing in the hall. Here's what I think would have happened. And y'all can, this is just me talking and sharing, but I don't think they really wanted to kill this man. I think they were expecting him to drop his weapon and to come out of the hall with his hands up. I don't think they came in with the mentality that we're going to eliminate the threat. I think they came in to try to negotiate or to try to take him into under arrest. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I feel like that's what the motive was. That's why they approached the situation the way they did. I don't think they meant to kill him or wanted to really kill him because they waited. Because they really waited. And because they waited, it was like y'all were waiting for him to give up. Y'all figured, okay, he did his damage in that classroom. He's going to step out. He's going to see these guns. And he's going to drop his weapon and he's going to put his hands up. I don't think they meant to kill him. But I think they had to, because why? The community was forcing them, was yelling at them and was and basically berating them to do something. Thank you, Laura, for checking in. Gina checking in as well. I'm glad to see some new comments coming into the chat on this. But Gina said, how could anyone listen to it and just stand there? They're listening to shot after shot, knowing every time one of those kids were dying, and just stand there. Gina, you right there on time, sis. Right there on time. See, again, for those who say that they need more, I'm going to just say, look at this video. Play the full video. And play it with the screams. I don't want to hear it. I am so happy that the Austin American Statesman newspaper decided to edit the screen, because that would have took me over, folks. I'm gonna be honest with you. That would have took me over. So I'm happy that they did that. But this is all that we need. Now, if Ted Cruz, who's in Texas, Greg Abbott, the governor there, if other advocates of gun ownership who are saying, oh, this okay, AR-15s are okay, if all of them guys, if they think that this is, they still need more. For those of you in Texas, need to vote their asses out like tomorrow. Seriously. Because you're not dealing with human beings now. You're dealing with a different type of person that has lost the ability to really empathize. Ted Cruz got children. Let it be one of his children. See? You've lost. See, this is where we are in the society. And see, the society that we live in, and this is a much bigger conversation. We don't have time to talk about it right now. But the society that we live in right now is that we love the violence. And as much as we talk about children are the future, and as much as we talk about the value of human life, the reality is that our words aren't consistent to our oaths. And as a result of that, we have these mass shootings that continue to happen over and over and over again. And we hold on to this belief, oh, the Second Amendment, oh, the freedom to bear for gun ownership, oh, it's not guns, it's people, all of these different, beliefs. But when things hit the fan, when things go haywire, right, and we still holding on to an idea or principle or a law that's not in our favor. Mass shootings, there have been more mass shootings in this country this year alone than it has been over the past few years. More young people are getting access to guns than it has in like never before. High-powered rifles and semi-automatic weapons and all of these things are happening. As we close out, I think, Nisa, this is a good point. Nisa's 1971, you said the one mama did run up in there and save several babies. She is a hero. There were a number of parents that wanted to run up in that situation. And sure, as a parent, you put yourself in harm's way. Because why? That's your baby. That's your baby. Look, folks. You don't need permission to save somebody's life. If someone is in danger, if someone is in harm's way, the right thing to do is to help that person. You don't need to wait on instructions. You will never, if for those of us who have small children, nieces and nephews, grandchildren, once one of our little babies is gone, that's a part of our future that is yet to be fulfilled. Sometimes the loss of a baby is so heavy on the heart, on the mind, the spirit of the individual, the parents, the grandparents, the community. The community is never the same. Uvalde will never be the same. You can break down the school. You can get a new school, new police chief. That community will never be the same. You had 19 babies who are a part of the future of Uvalde and other places around the country. They were the future. That's 19 elements of the future that's gone forever. Cowards, man. Let us keep our hopes, our prayers for the families. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Let us keep our prayers for the family of the Uvalde 19, the family of the 2 staff members that were killed in this tragedy. But let's be very clear, folks. Beyond gun conversations and debates, beyond all of the politics of this, lives could have been saved. And as a result of 77 minutes, they weren't. Look, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about healthcare access for those who have paralysis or limited mobility. We'll check in with the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation. Stay with us. Moving forward, it's the culture here on the Black Star Network.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, welcome back to the culture here on the Black Star Network. If you didn't get an opportunity to see the first hour, we discussed and just had an open conversation about the latest big development with the Uvalde tragedy that happened on May the 24th. Video has now been released of that tragedy and just having a conversation about what really happened. Outside of the narratives, outside of the storytelling and all of the things that we read, we got to see for ourselves what really happened. So if you missed that discussion, missed that conversation, so many of you checked in. If you didn't get to see the full first hour, make sure you check us out in the replay. All right, folks. Also, I wanted to just switch gears a little bit and have a different conversation talking about those things of tragedy with the babies and now a potential tragedy that could be affecting those who suffer from paralysis or limited mobility. And that's the tragedy of not having access to proper health care. This is one of the big issues that the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation is looking to address and to get more support on. And so today we are joined by Miss Regina Blythe. Regina is here to talk to us about what the foundation is moving forward. And she serves as the Chief Program and Policy Officer for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Regina, thank you so much for joining us here on The Culture on the Black Star Network. How are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Regina, talk to us a little bit about first the work that you do with the foundation, because it's an important work, it's powerful work, and I don't want us to just gloss over it.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to amplify the work that we're doing. And so as of February, I'm a new Chief Program and Policy Officer, but I oversee the Reeve Foundation's National Paralysis Resource Center. And basically what we do, we're the frontline workers that focus on people with paralysis, whether they are newly injured or if they have paralysis like myself for at least 30 years, that they have someone to talk to get resources, to understand the path that they need to take on this new journey. And so our job is dedicated to make sure that people with paralysis, family members, caretakers have access to someone or a team of people that can help them navigate the world living with paralysis. And I'd like to point out that we also award millions of dollars to nonprofit organizations that work with people with paralysis. So anyone that's listening, they have the opportunity to apply for funding if you work with this community, and particularly if you focus on working with people that are in rural areas and people that are of color.
So, and I'm so happy, Regina, that first and foremost, that you are a Black woman in this space, right? To talk and to really advocate for, having proper health care. Because I don't know if we're having enough conversations about this part of the healthcare access discussion, right? We often talk about Black mothers, we talk about, community care. But when it comes to healthcare access for those who suffer from paralysis and limited mobility, I'm gonna be honest with you, Regina, I haven't heard anything. So when the opportunity came for us to talk with you, I was like, absolutely, I want to learn more. And I think that a lot of our people should understand that there's a different segment of the population that is suffering much more than we like to believe. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled that you have me here today, because disability, paralysis, all those things, there was a stigma behind having a disability. And when I first was paralyzed, and it was through gun violence, it was known that people stayed at home. You were just known that you were going to take a check from the government, and that's your life. But it's changed now, and there are many things that are out there that are beneficial for people with disabilities to be successful in this space. And so it's time to be able to amplify what it means to have a disability. That doesn't mean that your life is over. It doesn't mean that you can't have an impact in society. I run a national nonprofit organization that focuses on paralysis, and there are many other people across the country that are doing amazing things when it comes to impacting the community and promoting the things that we can do and how we have relevance. So I just think being able to be on these type of shows and just be able to amplify the show that because you have paralysis doesn't mean that you can't be successful, but there are barriers that are in place that makes it hard for people to be able to have that impact, to be able to show that they can be of value. And so those are the things that we have to make sure that we address so that they can be their best self.
Absolutely. Now, Regina, we know that we're coming up on the 32nd anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act, ADA. And tell us a little bit about why this is significant for us to celebrate, and what does this act entail that we need to keep our eyes on?
So it's important for us to celebrate the Americans with Disabilities Act. No matter if you have a disability, You could be a family member, a caretaker, or a friend. These rules have been effective for everyone across the board. When you go to establishments and there are doors that open up automatically, or there's a ramp when you're carrying things, you benefit if you don't have a disability. But it's essential for someone that needs it when they have a mobility device. And I think the ADA has been crucial for allowing us to be able to integrate into the community and look like it's effortless for us to be able to be successful. And what's important about the ADA, it also focuses on education and employment to make sure there's no discrimination for anyone that wants to work and they want to be of value to their society. And even when it comes to voting, let me tell you, it is important for you to get out and vote. There shouldn't be any barriers out there for you to vote. And there are laws and rules that are in the ADA that helps protect people that have disabilities to make sure that their voice matters at the ballot box.
Absolutely. Now, when we're talking about the ADA, do you feel like the United States government, and do you feel like some of even the states governments on that level, do you feel like they're taking the Disabilities Act seriously, or is there, where are we in making sure and truly advocating for closing the gap within that healthcare disparity with that segment of our population?
Great question. I think that the federal government, they are taking the Americans with Disabilities Act seriously. I just think that there's a lot of hurdles and barriers that are in place that makes it complicated for people to understand when there are gaps that are there, how do we overcome those to where it makes sense for someone needing something immediately. And so one thing where I see that there is a disadvantage when it comes to the Americans with Disabilities Act is that it is not real time. When there's an issue that comes up, such as the medical diagnostic equipment, and that's the equipment that people need to use when they get mammograms, or if they're going in and having procedures to find out if they are preventing from some sort of diagnosis. There's new standards that are available that the ADA hasn't incorporated. So what does that mean? It means that there's guidance out there, but there's no teeth to it. So the medical professionals and healthcare facilities don't have to adhere to them because they're not required at this moment. And these standards have been in place since 2017. And so that's an area where if we can do things real time, move them quickly, then we could see more effective change for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Folks, I want you to post your comments and be a part of the conversation as we're talking to Regina Bly, who serves as the Chief Program and Policy Officer of the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation, as we talk about closing the gap of healthcare disparity and access for those who suffer from paralysis and limited mobility. Regina, talk to us a little bit about the issue of physical structure, upgrading our physical structures. And I'm speaking of like ramps, accessible elevators. When you're talking about, there are a number of people in this country, and I think we should certainly kind of highlight the number of people who do suffer from paralysis and limited mobility and disabilities in this country. Do you think that we are moving in a better place where we're creating, like, the buildings are becoming renovated to help to serve those who are in wheelchairs? I mean, are these spaces, are there more spaces now than it has been that really serves the limited mobility and paralysis community?
So I'm going to drop a few facts. I hope everyone can pick them up. So there's 1 in 50 Americans live with some type of paralysis. So that's about 6 million people living in the United States that has paralysis. And there's 1.3 million people that are living with a spinal cord injury. So when you think about those numbers, that's really impactful. And when you look at in general, when it comes to disabilities, whether you're blind, low vision, hard of hearing, the number grows. We are a truly large minority that doesn't get a lot of focus. So when you talk about renovating buildings, it gets really interesting because the ADA has a clause in there where people can be grandfathered in if the building was at a certain age, or if it's a historical building. They don't have to make modifications to it. They can continue on as is. What is great and what's helping is that there's a lot of building going on. There's a lot of growth. So all of these new structures are having to adhere to the ADA standards, and those accommodations are beneficial for people that need those types of assistance when it comes to ramps, when it comes to wider door entries and turning radiuses, and making sure they can access the restrooms. Those are beneficial more on the new side than the older buildings, because it gets a little complicated when you're talking about older buildings.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I want to get some questions from our audience as we talk about this issue, and then get your response to it. But first, before we do that, we're going to take a quick pause. When we move forward, folks, let's get your questions, let's get your thoughts around the work that Regina Bly is doing with the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation, and most importantly, how do we make sure that we close the gap of healthcare disparity for those who suffer from paralysis and limited mobility? So stay with us. We'll continue the conversation right here on The Culture on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Hey, Black, I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
I believe that people our age have lost the ability to focus the discipline on the art of organizing.
The challenges, there's so many of them and they're complex, and we need to be moving to address them. But I'm able to say, watch out, Tiffany. I know this road.
That is so freaking dope.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been having a conversation with Regina Bly, who serves as the Chief Program and Policy Officer of the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation, to talk to us a little bit about some of the issues and some of the big challenges as it relates to healthcare disparity. All right, folks, we are back here. Just having just a little technical glitches. We're going to, we'll be right back. Stay tuned to The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for a Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture here on the Black Star Network. We've been having a conversation with Ms. Regina Bly, who serves as the Chief Program Officer and Policy Director for the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation, and we're happy to have Regina with us. Regina, thank you so much for your patience. We truly appreciate you.
No problem.
Awesome. All right, Regina, we got a couple of people that had some questions that they posed as we were talking in the first part of the conversation. Some folks that brought up I think some very, very like important parts of this discussion around healthcare access for those who have paralysis and limited mobility. I want to share with you what Janelle checked in and said. Janelle Fields, she said this is going to become a bigger problem because COVID is going to have longer term impacts on health and wellness than folks realize. Our healthcare system makes it hard to identify who needs what. Can you speak to that? Because I'm tending to agree with Janelle on this one. What's your take on that? What's the stance of the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation as it relates to COVID and those who have limited mobility and healthcare access?
So that's a good question. And I would have to say that particularly when it comes to COVID, we don't have a direct stance on that. We just know that when someone enters into the community, we're opening our arms and trying to figure out the best way that we can serve them. And I know that when it comes to whether it's COVID or whether or not you're seeing the uptick of gun violence, there are people that end up with paralysis that don't get talked about and other kinds of issues pertaining to gun violence. And those are areas where we spend a great deal of time just trying to make sure that we get them connected to the resources that they need.
Absolutely. And I think COVID, and you know it like I know it, Regina, COVID just took everybody for a loop, right? It exposed a lot of things about healthcare access for those not just with limited mobility, for Black folks, for children, for immigrants, those who came to this country. I mean, it opened up like a Pandora's box. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. So what would be the best course of action that the community takes as we look at some of, all of these up and down issues related to COVID and trying to get healthcare just in general? Because I'm hearing horror stories all the time about doctors, about insurance companies, about, just not getting the type of access that folks expect to have in the middle of a pandemic.
Absolutely. So in general, there are disparities when it comes to healthcare, and it's not just limited to paralysis. And so one thing that I have to say is that you have to be uniquely informed when it comes to your circumstances that you're dealing with. And it's one of the reasons why the Reeve Foundation is so paramount into that discussion, because we can help you navigate and work out some of the issues that you might be facing when it comes to insurance, maybe may or not covering some treatment or giving you the type of prescriptions that you need to be able to address whatever health issue that you're working through. Also, there are things that need to be recognized when it comes to the Americans with Disabilities Act, where there are some protections that are in place that will help people when they're going to facilities to know what rights they have when they are in a medical facility. And it's really about understanding what the laws and the policies are so that you can have a more successful visit than what you first thought. But in general, it's really just being informed, understanding what you need to know when you are interacting with these facilities and medical doctors, because they don't know everything themselves. And sometimes they have to be educated on the spot. Is that the best circumstance? Absolutely not. But if you're wanting the right type of care, you got to come armed with the right information needed.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Mike V checked in. Mike is another one of our loyal watchers and supporters here on Black Star Network, Regina. He mentioned a few things when we talked a little bit earlier about being in spaces. I'm speaking of physical spaces that certainly will that are customized for those with disability and limited mobility. Mike brings up this point. He said major work across the Black neighborhoods for sidewalk construction with yellow plates for accessibility, crosswalks with lower functioning buttons, audible alerts for crossing the street. So Mike is seeing some things that are changing. And I'm wondering, Regina, from from an advocacy standpoint, are those some of the things that the community needs to speak up for and advocate for in their respective districts and in respective jurisdictions?
Oh, absolutely. I have this saying where advocacy never stops. When you
Yeah.
think you've done enough the one day, you got to continue the second day. And when it comes to just making sure that you have access to what you need, it's where when you're talking about sidewalks and making sure that there's sound, audible sound, so that people who are blind know when they can cross the street and when they're not supposed to cross the street. That is a benefit from the Americans with Disabilities Act. But then it goes to, how do we make that benefit work for the people that need it? And that's where it comes in, where advocacy is needed to make sure that you're talking to your local and state government about what you're seeing that's not there. And you have to stay on them. It's not something that where you might go and have a visit one day and think that it's enough. It's something that you have to repeatedly go in and talk to these people and let them know where there's a deficit and the recommendations that would be needed, so that you can make sure you're getting the things that you think work best for you and your community.
Absolutely. Let's go to Nisa. I think, Nisa, you bring up an excellent point. This is one of my big issues with the healthcare industry. Nisa's 1971 checked in and says, look, ever since the pharmaceutical industry changed doctors into businessmen in lab coats, there has been a huge discrepancy between patient care and profit. It's a sickness maintenance business. Now, I don't know if you can agree or disagree on this one, Regina, but I am in full agreement here. I feel like, are we in the business of keeping people sick, or are we in the business of helping people to get better, so that way we don't have to rely on the pharmaceutical company? But I'm leaning more to the fact that we're in the business of keeping people sick here. But you tell me.
So I'm just going to say up front, this one is completely outside of my lane, but I will say
right. It's above the pay grade. I get it.
But I will say, as someone that has used prescriptions and need them for my disability, I know that myself, I try to self-prescribe things that I think that make sense to me, because I did some research online and thought, oh, this might work for my pain shoulder that I have here. And then I might have these conversations with the doctor and say, here, I think I need X. And I think it's the having a good, close relationship with your doctor and having that conversation about what you need to make sure that you're getting the right medical care that's going to keep you alive and not get you dependent on anything that you don't need. And also just giving you prescriptions so that it's eating up your pocketbook. It is truly just having a really good relationship with your primary care doctor and any specialized physician that you might need.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. I appreciate you for bringing that up, Nisa. Mike checked in and also said, look, I wish the federal government would take the ADA seriously for Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin, for his disability unjustly caused by law enforcement. So that is an interesting point, because I'm from Baltimore. I am familiar. There are a number of police abuse cases in Baltimore City, as there probably are across this country. And, those individuals who were walking around and then who weren't a part of the disabled community are now moving, they might be suffering from paralysis, limited mobilities, and other disabilities. And I'm wondering, where do they fit into this conversation, Regina? Especially if those injuries were caused by law enforcement. Is that something that the state would be held accountable for, responsible for? Or how does that work? Where do they fit?
Are you referring to when it comes to the Americans with Disabilities Act, or is it?
Yes.
So that one's an interesting one, because I don't necessarily, and I'm not an expert on the ADA, so I'm not sure where that would play a role there. I would say, when it comes to Jacob Blake, I wish I could get a conversation with him to see how he's doing and to see if he could benefit from the resources that we have to offer and to help him understand what it means now with him living with paralysis and the fact that he is paralyzed due to gun violence, and also it was by a police officer. We actually have a speaker that's coming up at our summit in October who has paralysis due to a police shooting, and I'm pretty sure he has a lot of information and knowledge on this particular topic, but I won't necessarily know if I can make a connection about whether the ADA plays a role and what that means when it comes to the police side of things.
Okay. And then our final comment comes from another loyal watcher and supporter, Shalinda. Shalinda said, my youngest brother is a quadriplegic from gun violence when he was 14. He's 45 years old now. Where can he get more information in Little Rock, Arkansas?
Well, I just have to say kudos to your brother for surviving with paralysis that long. I'm in the same space as your brother. I was 10 years old when I was shot. I was shot in the neck with a rifle at a slumber party. So I've been living now for 36 years with paralysis. And so I'm not ashamed and embarrassed to state that I have a disability and that I'm alive for 46 years, because before it was a little tricky whether or not I wanted to tell people my age. But when I was injured, the doctor gave me a 10% chance to live. So every day that I am breathing and that I'm living, I'm proving that individual wrong. And I'm so thrilled to hear that there's others that are out there that are injured and living with paralysis for a long time, because it was called a death sentence once you were paralyzed. They were just like, oh, count this person out. But, medical equipment has changed over the years. Treatment has changed. The work that we're doing in this field to make sure that people can live extended lives with paralysis is beneficial. So I would say for your brother that he can reach out to us by going to our website. It's christopherreeve.org. You can also email me. I'm sure the hosts can give you my information. And you also can give us a call. We have a 1-800 number. We're located in New Jersey, but we operate throughout the entire country. We have an office in DC where I live and work. And so we have staff that can help anyone directly that's in DC. But our number is 1-800-225-0292. And again, it's christopherreeve.org is our website. And it has all of the information about how you can contact us there. It also has a listing of our programs and opportunity for funding if you're a nonprofit organization.
So the fact that, and I'm glad that you brought up your personal story, Regina, because, people should, and I love how you introduce your own story. You're saying, look, I'm not ashamed. I'm not afraid to tell people how my age. This is who I am. This is what happened to me, but it doesn't define my life. And I think that for a lot of people, they seem, having a disability still carries a heavy stigma that you should be ashamed, that you should walk down with your head low, or that, some people feel like they should pity you because you're in this condition, whereas you're just living proof that none of that applies to you and your life. How did you get to that place, though?
Well, I'm just going to be honest. It wasn't an easy journey. I was injured prior to the Americans with Disabilities Act, and I was injured prior to the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. So I didn't really have access to those resources. And my mom was my caretaker until I was able to do things on my own. And to amplify that, I was injured in a very small podunk town that I love to this day in Texas. And so I was in the middle of the sticks. And so being in a rural area means that you don't necessarily have access to the right medical facilities and the information that you need to thrive. So when I first started out, I was not confident. I was unsure of how I was going to live, because I thought I was going to be a WNBA player and I thought I was going to be this wonderful athlete. But, plans changed, and here I am having to use my mind and intellect to be able to guide me. And that was something that my stepfather taught me at a young age, is that, you know, you might not have your legs now, but you have your mind, so you should use it. And that's what I've been doing and trying to educate people on, with those internal ableisms where they think that because you can't walk, you can't do something else. But it's the opposite. It's, we're such strategists, technicians, and thought leaders because of all the things that we have to do to make rolling around look effortless. So it's just one of those things that you just have to spend more time than needed to just educate people to know that, you know, I'm just as fabulous as you are. I just do it rolling around.
I know that's right. Oh my gosh. Hey, Regina, I absolutely love it. I love that energy, sis. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And Shalinda followed up. She was wowed by your story. She said her brother was also shot in the neck, which shattered his vertebrae. The bullet is still enlarged in his neck till this day. So he's been walking around with this bullet in him for 30 plus years. Wow.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. So for me, it was a through and through. It happened in the front, and then the bullet came out in the back. And so it just happened that it happened in a way that I wasn't paralyzed from the neck down. But for those that are able to see on the screen, I'm a quad also. And so I have limitations in my hands, so limited dexterity. So it affected me greatly, but I figured out a way to still be able to make it work, be able to drive, type, do whatever it is that I need to do to be able to be successful. So kudos to your brother for shining so many years.
That is absolutely powerful. All right, Regina, we appreciate your time. I want to give you the opportunity one more time to just share, how can people get the resources, take advantage of the resources, learn more about the work of the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, and most importantly, how to not be confined by paralysis and limited mobility?
Oh, thank you so much. Again, it's been a pleasure. I hope that people were able to learn something new from us having this discussion today. And I'll give you one more factoid. Because of the Americans with Disabilities Act, we have expanded it. It's not just a day, it is Disability Awareness Month. And so this is our opportunity to, again, show that we're loud and proud, that our rights are the same as yours, and that we want everybody to respect us regardless of having a disability. And so if anyone wants to know more, stay connected, they can do that by going to ChristopherReeve.org or giving us a call at 1-800-225-0292.
There it is. Look at that beautiful website. Regina is the Chief Program and Policy Officer for the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Regina, we thank you so much for the great work that you're doing. Most importantly, I thank for the inspiration that you are, the story that you have. So I thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule to be with us. And, when other things coming up down the pike, please keep us as a resource. We would love to get the word out about the work that you're doing and the work that the Christopher and Dana Reeves Foundation is doing as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I'm happy to come back anytime to drop a little more knowledge anytime needed.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's have a conversation about Elon Musk. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, welcome back to The Culture. Let's have a conversation very quickly because I wanted to at least have this discussion to bring you up to speed on what's happening. If you haven't heard, I knew it was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen, folks. I knew it was going to happen. Elon Musk didn't want Twitter. No, he didn't. Apparently, Twitter is upset with the billionaire, the world's richest man, rather, because he's backing out of the $44 billion deal to buy the company. Now, they have went along and have already filed a lawsuit yesterday against Elon Musk. And the reason that Musk is deciding to back out of the deal, he's claiming that Twitter violated the deal agreement by failing to provide the information he requested to verify the number of spam accounts on its platform and failed to proceed with the ordinary course of business by conducting layoffs. Twitter alleges that Elon Musk is willingly offered and agreed to terms that was, as he touted, seller friendly. So they're going to take him to court, which is going to open the conversation, folks, for a very, very heated legal battle. Wanted to get your take on this. What's your take? Do you think that this was the Elon Musk plan from the beginning? Because I think so. I think, I'm going to be honest, folks. Now remember, we've had conversations on this show about Elon Musk. He talks about, Twitter is the town square of thought for the American people. It is where we share ideas and we decide on the fate of the world. Twitter can't tell me how many spam accounts, therefore I'm backing out the deal. And I think, let me just say, I think that a lot of it also came from public pressure. Elon Musk loves to have the attention. He loves the attention. This is my analysis of the situation. I think he loves the attention. He wanted to come in as one way, and then he wanted to kind of build himself up, only to get the conversation going. He reminds me of another person that loves a lot of attention, but doesn't always come through on the big promises he makes. Yeah, let me think. Who's this guy? Oh, Donald Trump. I thought of Donald Trump. When I read about this story, folks, I immediately thought, yeah, he's like Donald Trump. He's like Donald Trump on this. So share with me your thoughts. Are you surprised that Elon Musk has decided to kind of back away from buying Twitter? Give me your thoughts very quickly, and we'll post them. But I knew that it wasn't going to happen just simply because of how Elon Musk rolls. Now, we know SpaceX is the big thing. Tesla is the big thing. But guess what, folks? Elon Musk is not a man about social media platform. He doesn't know. He likes trolling. He's really great at that. But he's not a man that actually is truly about managing, overseeing a social media platform. Now, the other part about this back out from the world's richest man is that, according to his lawyer, they were also considering whether Twitter's declining stock performance in the midst of a broader market downturn may impact the agreement. So that is part of it, right? Whether it's actually feasible. But to Twitter's point, Twitter said that since Elon Musk's public critique of the platform and the deal have created risk to its business and has essentially helped push the share price of the platform down. That's what Twitter's lawsuit is saying. And that it proposed the deal as an elaborate joke. This is the language that Twitter uses. And the company points to tweets from Musk making light of the twists and turns in the merger saga. And it opened the door for all types of critique. All types of critique. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. What I think this will do, and I know a lot of you probably thought, oh man, this is good that one person has this much power to be able to control social media platform. Social media platforms, they are already controlled, they're already corporatized. But the big thing for me is that we need to be very, very mindful about how we want our communications platform to be managed, right? I've said this before, and I can't accept. I'm going to keep saying this, folks. I think at some point, these platforms need to be regulated. At some point, they need to be regulated. It's just too much. It's too much. They have too much of our information, too much data. They have too much influence on the public discourse of issues. It's just too much. All right, DeAndre checked in. DeAndre, you said what about Elon Musk? Musk knew what he was doing. There's a saying that actually holds true. This is what DeAndre said. He said, the saying goes, you can talk good about me. You can talk bad about me as long as you're talking about me. There's no bad media controversy sells. I like that one. Hey, DeAndre, I haven't heard that one, so I actually like that one, brother. I appreciate that. You can talk good about me. You can talk bad about me as long as you're talking about me. Yeah. Elon Musk. That's perfect for him. And Donald Trump and Kanye West. And okay, we don't have to go down the list. But that's a great point. Great point. DeAndre, thank you so much for checking in. Willie, my man Willie Frazier checking in, laughing out loud. Willie says Elon Musk says he wants to buy Twitter. They say no at first. He offers $44 billion. They're like, okay. Then he says no. What do you do? I don't know. Yeah, they say no. He says money. They say yes. Then he says no. That's general. That's not how the boy meets girl. Okay. All right. So yeah, we will see. Willie, my man, thank you so much for checking in. And I think you're absolutely right, sir. Something to be laughed at. But I think it may open a door for other billionaires to think that they could come in and save us from our own selves. We can't let that happen, folks. We cannot let that happen at all. Again, social media needs to be regulated. There needs to be some regulation of this. There needs to be some community ownership, not just with our data, but I think there needs to be some community ownership about everything, every element of social media. Because while social media is reaping rich off of us, if we're not paying for it, someone else is gaining from it. Ooh, I think I just dropped something nice there. Nice, Jewel. If we're not paying for it, someone else is gaining from it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to just end the show like that. I'm just going to end the show on that note. All right, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you for checking in here. I want to thank our very special guest, Regina Blythe from the Christopher and Dana Reed Foundation, for the great work they're doing with the disabled community. And make sure y'all go and check out the work, the resources, and other opportunities that you can do, that you can get involved. But more involvement on this side looks like you supporting us here at Black Star Network, where we continue to put out information, content, have discussions that we hope and pray resonates with you. So go to our website right now, download the app if you haven't already at blackstarnetwork.com. Support us financially, support us through your shares, support us through telling people all about the work that we're doing, the programs that we have. We got the new show Pivot with our tech expert, Stephanie Humphreys. You can check that out. But of course, we got those shows that are just rocking and rolling. Black Table with Dr. Carr, Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie, and of course, Get Wealthy with Deborah Owens, and of course, yours truly. So make sure you continue to support us here at Black Star Network. We also got some great new video. Roland has video from Essence Fest that is still running. You can check out the replay. And if you haven't checked out his conversation as we celebrate the 80th birth anniversary of Richard Roundtree, the legendary Richard Roundtree, make sure y'all check out Roland with Roland. That conversation is up for your viewing pleasure at blackstarnetwork.com. All right, that's going to do it for me. Stay tuned at the 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time mark, folks, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Brother Roland Martin with Roland Martin Unfiltered. As always, never be afraid to stand alone, challenge what's right. Never be afraid to challenge what's wrong, stand for what's right, while being yourself in the process. God willing, we'll talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Peace.